Israel's next national election will take place on October 27, the absolute latest date it could be legally held. It's also the first ballot since Hamas's brutal October 7 attacks, which led to military campaigns in Gaza, Lebanon and Iran. Surveys suggest Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition will fall short of an outright win, but the path to victory isn't much clearer for their rivals. I'm joined by Tal Schneider. She is a political correspondent with the Times of Israel. Tal, thank you very much for joining us this evening. As things stand now, what are Benjamin Netanyahu's chances of regaining the top job?
Exactly as you mentioned, in Israel, it's a coalition parliamentary system. You have to form a coalition. It's not enough to have your own votes, as the Likud party is the leading party of this country. You actually need to bring on other parties and form a coalition together. Right now, in recent polling, we've seen former Chief IDF Gadi Eisenkot is the biggest party with around 22 to 23 seats, and Likud with 21 to 22, meaning still any side of them, both Gadi Eisenkot and Netanyahu need to form a coalition. And the chances are not good on the right-wing side, specifically because of the massacre, but they're falling. The polling began even before the massacre because of the judicial overhaul that Netanyahu was trying to pull together in this country, changing the democratic fabric of this country into a semi-authoritarian country. And he did not succeed, but people still remember that.
There are a lot of things here at play. Let's discuss the top of the heap here. While Benjamin Netanyahu is an unmatched political survivor, this is the first vote since the October 7 attacks, which severely damaged him in the public standing. Then there's the military campaigns in Gaza, Lebanon and Iran that many have accused him of mismanaging. Is victory a bridge too far for him just based on that alone?
So again, in Israel, it's very hard to predict what's going to take place in 3 months from now, specifically because of the volatile situation in the Middle East, where Israel is under attack from Iran, from Yemen, from Lebanon, from the Hezbollah in Lebanon. So it's very hard for me to tell you what's going to take place, even tomorrow. Having said that, there is, obviously there is huge criticism on the months that led to the massacre. Netanyahu was warned by security officials of an imminent war, and he ignored them completely. There is a huge criticism about the way things were not investigated up until now. It's almost 3 years since the massacre, and he did not set up and commission to inquire what took place, even though, this is the biggest, failure in Israel leadership since the country was formed, the biggest massacre the Jewish people have known since for many years. And, as you said, I think there is a criticism about the way the war with Iran was handled with respect to Lebanon and to Gaza. The criticism is, I wouldn't say the entire population is resentful to Netanyahu over that, because obviously the terror organizations are sitting right on the border of this country and they are attacking at all times.
Netanyahu has testified at 98 hearings over the past 18 months due to several corruption allegations against him. Has anything come out of that, and will that have any impact on his campaign?
One thing that came out, he's a little bit less busy, meaning he can campaign harder, bringing out all of his campaign capabilities, because he doesn't have to be in the court every day. He was not attending any day as it is. He attended once or twice a week, but, he has more free time. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, because, when he's campaigning, we see Netanyahu at his strongest, abilities. He loves campaign. He loves to bring hateful messages against some of the Israeli people and against his opponents. So he brings out the best in him, the best or the worst, any way you want to call it, during those times. And he is, he can be also, a very tough, person to oppose to. He has a lot of admirers in the country. He has big following followers. It's not like his numbers diminished. His numbers are still, he's still present with the good numbers for him.
What would you say are the main issues that voters will keep in mind heading into this next election?
Security, security, security. This country was terrorized in the worst possible way you can think of, having around 1,200 people massacred within 6 to 7 hours. This is, the biggest thing that ever happened here, and I don't think this country will, will heal from that. Not even with the change of government, because the amount of the way the people were scared after that. It's with us for a very long time. And he was the prime minister when things took place. He blames the military. He says that it was not his fault. It was the military fault. Everybody from the military are gone by now, meaning they were either sacked or resigned. And he's the only person who's still in the same job since the massacre.
Looking at Netanyahu's base, how damaging was the Netanyahu government's decision to lift protections against drafting members of Israel's ultra-Orthodox citizens into the military?
It's very harmful. On the one hand, they keep saying the security is the biggest issue and they need more soldiers, and they put more, reserve duty on secular and just regular religious soldiers. And on the other hand, they exempt a huge group of more than 1 million people in this population. They exempt them completely from military service. They claim that they pray for God, and this, because of their prayers, they don't need to serve in the military. So that's, it's ridiculous for most of the people, and it doesn't work. It's not something you can sustain in the Israeli society of today. And you see the numbers for Netanyahu dropped from 25 to 21 in the last just couple of weeks because of that. Yet, as I said, you need to form a coalition. So the fact that he doesn't have, the numbers, it's still, still in the works. He can somehow, pull that together, unless we will see the deterioration of the Likud keep on going up until election day.
Now, the Netanyahu government is also engaged in a few battles with the Supreme Court, including an attempt to limit the powers of the court itself. Is this likely to play into the minds of voters at all?
Yes, it is to play. It was not on the table in the election of 2022. The Likud had a plan, but they hide it. It was not a formal agenda. Once they entered the government at the early of 2023, suddenly they put on the table this judicial overhaul, changing the democratic fabric of this country. Since then, they made huge attempts to continue with that. The public rejected that, if you're looking at the public polling. However, I still have to be, let you know that many people on his side, the Likud base, truly support that. So I think Netanyahu wants the campaign to be completely over that issue, convincing his own base that this is the greatest step that he can take. And he doesn't want to talk about the war. He doesn't want to talk about the massacre. He only wants to talk about Supreme Court judges and judicial issue. He thinks that will bring him a win. I beg to differ, but, we'll have to see.
It's going to be a very interesting and very busy few months. Tal Schneider from the Times of Israel, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.